The Raptors are in a pretty unique situation right now, just because of how their last few seasons have looked. They won the title in 2019, but after that, they missed the playoffs completely in 2 out of their last 3 seasons. Nick Nurse is no longer their head coach, and they recently lost Fred VanVleet as well. I don't blame VanVleet for leaving, since he signed a 3-year, $130 million contract with the Rockets, and this makes him the highest paid undrafted player in NBA history. If somebody gave me a contract like that, I would definitely go in a heartbeat. And it looks like the Raptors don't want to commit to a full-on rebuild either. Similar to how they brought in Kawhi Leonard and they won a title, they could be willing to bring in Lillard and get them closer to that title again. This team also has a handful of players that they could put up on the trade block if needed. They have Pascal Siakam, Scottie Barnes, OG Anunoby, Gary Trent Jr. They have some options. Now, I can't comment on who they would and wouldn't let go, but point is, they do have options if they want to explore ways to make this trade happen. Honestly, if I think it through, I would bet that a trade package around OG Anunoby would be the one that other teams would be most interested in. He's a two-way player, a former first-round draft pick, and he's just 26 years old. If he's not good enough already, the possibility of him getting even better is definitely there. And maybe he could develop into one of the best two-way players in the league at some point, who knows? And if forming a package around Anunoby seems possible for the Raptors, then we start wondering if the Trailblazers see any value. I think it would depend on if the Trailblazers see future potential in Anunoby, but if they don't, then they may not want to invest in him. So you can see just how complicated it gets when trying to make this trade stuff happen. I'm going to let the front offices decide how to put this trade together, but in the meantime, I want to discuss the pros and cons of signing a player like Lillard. First off, players like Lillard don't come on the free market too often. Yes, he is 33 years old, but he can still shoot 30 points a game every single night. He's one of the best shooters in the league right now. So I can't think of anyone better to help the Raptors, who have one of the worst half-court offenses in the league. I know that they would probably not want to lose Anunoby and a bunch of draft picks, but also the possibility of Lillard giving them championship hopes again might be something that the team doesn't want to pass up on. Their starting 5 would be Barnes, Gary Trent Jr., Lillard, Siakam, and Jacob Paletti, and this lineup wouldn't only make the playoffs, but I think they would be able to compete for a top 4 spot regularly. I also want to go over some of the downsides because there is a level of risk involved here as well. Lillard said that he only wants to play for the Heat, and so I wonder if that's still the case for him. And what if Toronto ends up calling his bluff and they find out that he's serious about only wanting to play for Miami? This is one of those scenarios where you don't want to find out when it's too late. He also has a $121 million contract extension that hasn't even kicked in yet. So while they do want him, will they be able to make those sacrifices money-wise and possibly give up the flexibility that they have? My personal opinion is that they need to go all out on this trade. The Raptors are going to be stuck somewhere in limbo if they don't try to compete right now, and if they also don't want to rebuild. And I'm going to bet that if they had the option between the two, I think they would much rather compete than to go on a rebuild. They just need to make sure that Barnes and Siakam stay with the team, and then go all in on this trade. His shooting and scoring ability would be huge for the team. But that's the most recent update. Let me know what you think will happen with this whole Damian Lillard situation. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.